See, an article is marked at rupees 15,000. A dealer sells it to a consumer at 10% profit. If the rate of GST is 12%, find out number 1, the selling price excluding tax of the article. Number 2, the amount of tax under GST paid by the consumer and total amount paid by the consumer. Then how to proceed? As it is given, the marked price of the article is 15,000. So the dealer will make a profit of 10%. So 15,000 into 10%, that comes to 1500. Now the selling price 15,000 plus 1500, that comes to 16,500. The rate of GST is 12%. So amount of GST, that 16,500 into 12%, that comes to 1980. So therefore the total amount paid by the consumer, that is the selling price plus GST, that comes to 16,500 plus 1980, that 18,480 rupees. So that is how to solve the questions of the goods and services tax GST. This class is for class 10 level students. Okay, whatever may be the CBSE, ICSE or West Bengal board or any other board, this is level of class 10. Come to the next question. A shopkeeper buy goods worth rupees 4,000 rupees and sells this at a profit of 20% to a consumer in the same state. If GST is charged at 5%, find out the selling price, that is excluding tax of the goods, CGST, that is central goods and services paid the consumer, SGST, that is state goods and services tax, C for central and S for state, okay, paid by the consumer, total amount paid by the consumer. So actual price of the goods is the 4,000 rupees. Question paper is telling that 20% profit will be imposed. So 20% of that 4,000, that comes to 800 rupees. So selling price excluding tax will be the 4,000 plus 800, that is the 4,800. Okay, so if the tax is if GST is the 5%, so that will be 50% central and 50% state. So 2.5% will be CGST and 2.5% will be SGST. Calculate separately. 4800 into 2.5%, that is 120 CGST, and SGST also 120, that will be the same. So total amount paid by the consumer, that is selling price plus CGST plus SGST, that comes to 5040. Come to the next question. The marked price of an article is rupees 12,500. The dealer in Kolkata sells the article to a consumer in the same city at a profit of 8%. If the rate of GST is 18%, find the selling price excluding tax of the goods, IGST, that is integrated goods and services tax, CGST and SGST paid by the dealer to the central state government, the amount which the consumer pays for the article. So here marked price is the 12,500 rupees. After that the seller will impose the 8% profit. So 12,500 into 8%, that comes to 1,000 rupees. Right now the selling price excluding tax will be marked price plus profit, that is 12,500 plus 1,000 rupees, that will be the 13,500 rupees. Here the GST question paper told 18%, so that the 9% will be going to the CGST and 9% will be going to the for the SGST. See, IGST is not applicable in this case since it is dealing intra-state. So whenever one state is selling goods to the another, suppose from the seller of the West Bengal is selling goods to the UP, Bihar or Jharkhand or any other state, in that case the IGST will be applicable. So here in this question IGST will not be applicable, only CGST and SGST, and whatever may be the GST percentage is given over there, just make it half for the central and make it half for the state. That's such a simple process. Okay, so that 13,500 into 18%, that 9%, that is 1215 for the CGST and 1215 for the SGST. Now make it total. So 13,500 plus 1215 plus 1215, that comes to 15,930 will be the answer. Come to the next question. A shopkeeper buys an article from a wholesaler is for the 20,000 and sells it to a consumer at 10% profit. If the rate of GST is 12%, find the tax liability of the shopkeeper. So what is the main price? That is the market price is the 20,000 rupees. After that 10% profit, so 2,000, 10% of 20,000. So the selling of shopkeeper cost price plus profit, that comes to 22,000. Right now you have to impose tax 12%. So tax liability of the shopkeeper, that is the 2,000 rupees into that 12%. Okay, so profit into GST. So rupees 240 will be the answer. So students, please make a note that the tax liability of the shopkeeper will be the profit into GST percentage. Okay, so come to the next question. A dealer buys an article for 6,000 from a wholesaler. Okay, that the dealer sells the article to a consumer at 15% profit. If the sales are intrastate and the rate of GST is 18%, then find the input CGST and input SGST by the dealer, output CGST and output SGST collected by the dealer, the net CGST and SGST paid by the dealer, total amount paid by the consumer. See, this sum includes all these such calculations. So what is the selling price of the wholesaler? That comes to 6,000. After that they will charge 15% as profit. So 6,000 into 15%, that comes to 900 rupees. So selling price of the dealer, that is cost plus profit, that 6,000 plus 900, that is 6,900. Okay, the rate of GST is 18%. So input CGST paid by the dealer, so 9% of the selling price of wholesaler. Okay, so that 6,000 rupees into 9%, that is 540. Okay, and input SGST also 9% of the selling price of the wholesaler, that is 6,000 into 540. 5,000 into that 6,000 into 9%, 540, and output CGST collected by the dealer 9% of the 9% of the selling price of the dealer. Okay, that is 6,900 into 9%, and the output SGST 9% of the selling price, that is 6,900 into 9%, that is 621, and net CGST paid by the dealer, that is output CGST minus input CGST, that is 621 minus 540, that is the 81. Okay, and net SGST paid by the dealer, that is output SGST minus input SGST, that is 621 minus 540, and the total amount paid by the consumer, total selling price of the dealer plus CGST plus SGST, that is 6,900 plus 621 plus 621, that comes to 8142. So students have to mark some formula. First of all, see that for the input CGST and input SGST, the calculation will be on the purchase price. Okay, see here, the dealer first purchased buys the article 6,000 rupees from the wholesaler. So that 6,000 is the will be taken as a input CGST as well as the SGST. So see, the input CGST and input SGST will be calculated on that purchase price. Okay, but output CGST and output SGST will be calculated on that price plus the profit margin. That comes to 6,900. So that is the difference between the input CGST and output CGST. And net CGST paid by the dealer, output CGST minus input CGST. This is the formula. Okay, and net SGST paid by the dealer, that is also output SGST minus input SGST. This formula you have to mark in your copy, nothing more than that. And except the input and output, the sum is same as the previous sum. So only you have to make a note in your copy that for the input CGST or SGST, whatever may be, will be calculated on the purchase price, that is the 6,000, and output rate will be calculated on the purchase price plus profit figure. Only the difference is this, nothing more than that. Come to the next question. A manufacturer buys raw materials worth rupees 7500 paying GST at the rate of 5%. He sells the finished product to a dealer at 40% profit. If the purchased and the sale both are intrastate and the rate of GST for the finished product is 12%, find the input tax under GST paid by the manufacturer, output tax under GST collected by the manufacturer, the tax under GST paid by the manufacturer to the central and state government, the amount paid by the dealer for the finished product. There are 5 questions. Okay, so let's solve one by one. Cost of the raw material is 7,500. Okay, GST paid 5%. So 7,500 into 5%, that comes to 375. So the central and state GST will be the 50%. So 375 by 2, that is half of 375 we will go for CGST and half of 375 we will go for SGST. So question number 1 is over. Now come to the question number 2. The output tax under GST collected by the manufacturer. Okay. The manufacturer sells the finished product to a dealer at a profit of 40%. So profit will be 7500 into 40%, that comes to rupees 3,000 rupees. So selling price will be cost price plus profit, that comes to 7500 plus 3,000 rupees, that is 10,500. So output tax under GST collected by the manufacturer, that is 12% of selling price. See, why 12%? See, it is question paper, where the question paper it is given that it is on the finished product, it is the 12%. Okay, so 12% of that 10,500. Okay, so that 1260 divided by 2, because central and state will divide equally, so both CGST and SGST will be 630 rupees. The net tax under GST paid by the manufacturer to the central government, CGST, that is input minus output. Okay, 630 minus 187.50. The amount paid by the dealer for the finished product will be selling price plus GST, that is 10,500 plus, that is 12% of 10,500, that comes to 11,000. 760. Okay. Come to the next question. See the next problem. A manufacturer sells a TV to a dealer for rupees 18,000 and the dealer sells it to a consumer at a profit of rupees 1500. So here three parties are involved. One is the manufacturer selling the TV to dealer. Dealer is the second place. From dealer to the consumer is the third stage. So three people are involved. If the sales are interstate and the rate of GST is the 12%, then find. Now come to the question part. The amount of GST paid by the dealer to the state government. So dealer is the middleman. From the middleman's perspective, the amount of GST paid by the dealer to the state government, the amount of GST received by the central government, the amount of GST received by the state government, the amount that the consumer pay for the TV. So four questions are there. So in case of intra-state, the transaction of the goods and services, that is the, you know that the CGST half, SGST half, total GST is the 12% rupees. So 6% will go to the central and 6% will go to the state government. So 18,000 is the price of the TV. So manufacturer sells the TV to dealer 18,000. So amount of GST collected by manufacturer from dealer, that is the CGST minus SGST, that is the 6% of 18,000, that is the 1080. Okay. So manufacturer will pay 1080 as CGST and 1080 as SGST to SGST. CP of the TV for dealer is 18,000 rupees. Profit is the 15,000 rupees. So SP means selling price of the TV for dealer to a consumer, that is CP plus profit, 18,000 plus 1500, that comes to 19,500. Okay. So amount of GST collected by dealer from customer, that is CGST is equal to SGST is equal to 6% of that 19,500. So 19,500 into 6%, that is 1170. So amount of GST paid by the dealer to the central government, that is 1170 minus 1080, that is 90. The amount of GST received by the central government, that is CGST paid by manufacturer plus CGST paid by the dealer, that is 1080 plus 90, that comes to 1170. Amount of GST received by the state government, that is GST paid by the manufacturer plus SGST paid by the dealer, that is 1080 plus 90, that comes to 1170. And the amount that consumer pays for the TV, that is the CP of TV plus CGST paid by the customer plus CGST paid by the customer. One is CGST paid by the customer and another one is the SGST paid by the customer. So 19,500 plus 1170 plus 1170, that comes to 21,840. Come to the next question. A shopkeeper buys a camera at a discount of 20% from the wholesaler. The printed price of the camera is rupees 1600. The shopkeeper sells it to a consumer at the printed price. If the sales are interstate, the rate of GST is 12%. Find the GST paid by the shopkeeper to the central government, the GST received by the central government, GST received by the state government, the amount at which consumer bought the camera. So come to the solution part. In case of the intrastate transaction of goods and services, CGST 50% and SGST 50%, that is half of GST. Each and every sum we are doing the same practice. The printed price of the camera 1600, rate of discount 20%. So deduct that 20% of that 1600. That after that you will get 1280. Okay, that is the CP of the camera. CP means the cost price. It is given that the GST is the 12% rupees. So amount of GST paid by the shopkeeper to the wholesaler, that is the GST, that is the SGST, is equal to 6% of 1280. So 6% of 1280, that comes to 76.80. So GST paid by the shopkeeper to the central government, that is the 1600 into 6%, that comes to 96. So GST paid by the shopkeeper to the central government, 96 minus 76.80, that comes to 19.20. GST received by the central government, that is the CGST paid by the wholesaler plus SGST paid by the shopkeeper, that is 76.80 plus 19.20, that comes to 96 rupees. And the amount at which the consumer bought the camera, that is amount paid by the consumer for camera, that is CP of the camera plus CGST paid by the consumer plus SGST paid by the consumer. So 1600 plus 96 plus 96, that comes to 1792 rupees.